Yeah. Yep, you can go ahead. Yeah. Yep, it's just the video's acting weird. Let me just, I have somebody on there. I'm gonna ask Julie if she can see. Yep.
I'd like to call the order tonight for the Waterford Town Board special meeting at 5:30 p.m. Thank you all for coming tonight. Good to see you. Very interested in what's going on, so thank you for coming. Number one, discussion of possible action regarding appointment of new police liaison and apply appropriate access, including but not limited to camera access and police programs. I would like to make a motion to apply our new supervisor, Andrew Handeland, as police liaison for the police department, and also grant him an officer in charge access to the Acadius. And also the police department made me aware they do not have the proper fobs, so they get that fixed too. That's my motion. Looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
All right, open for discussion? Okay, no discussion, I'm gonna call for vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. Number two, discuss some possible action regarding composition of police committee in rebuilding the Waterford Police Department. I am going to entertain a motion to reestablish the committee going forward with the membership of 5 members, 4 from the public, and 1 supervisor. The police liaison, Andrew, would be representing the board. Also Mark Thompson and Rick Brenz and Doug Schwartz as public. I'm also going to newly appoint Ed Olander as chair of that committee. That's my motion. Looking for a second. Second, any discussion?
This board needs to be able to rely on the information that it receives, particularly if it's from a committee that it creates, and especially if it's from a committee, people who are in positions of trust. Several of those individuals named are on record as having spoken things that are less than truthful, and so I would oppose their inclusion in that committee.
Are you singling somebody out on the committee or who?
No, there were a couple of them.
Further discussion? All right, I will call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Number 3, discussion of possible action regarding defining roles of police committee for day-to-day operations. I'm going to entertain a motion that the police committee work with the officer in charge for day-to-day operations of the police department, ensuring that it goes forward for the best interest of the community. And that is my motion.
Second.
Discussion?
You are placing a committee with individuals on it with who are willing to make statements of questionable veracity and having a questionable background when the statements that they have made in charge of day-to-day operations. If the desire is to make a police commission, this board should just make a police commission. But having a committee of lay people operate the day-to-day operations of a police department is, I would say, inadvisable. And again, this committee needs to be able to rely on that information from credible sources. There are a couple individuals up here who understand firsthand what happens when they rely on information that does not come from a credible source. In this particular case, it resulted in just citations. Next time it might put the whole town at liability.
Okay, again, I will ask who on the board, the committee that you are recommending, because past we voted on this, that committee was authorized by the previous town board.
Well, since then, Mr. Renz sat down for an interview that's on YouTube where he spoke with a certain amount of authority on topics that he was quite unfamiliar with. And I think that if somebody is willing to speak with such authority and be so wrong, that that is a problem for a town board that needs to be able to rely on the information that it receives from these people. Additionally, Mr. Olander, who you named as the chair, shared all kinds of misinformation related to the police department at the candidates forum. Again, the truthfulness, the veracity of the statements made to this board need to be able to be relied upon.
Okay, I'll note that. I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed?
No,
Discussion number 4, discussion possible action regarding creation of a clerk and DPW committee, 1 supervisor and 2 public members. I'm gonna entertain a motion. That we're gonna, request public. I will name the supervisor at the end of the meeting in May, but I'm looking to have public input on overseeing, helping with the operations, reviewing stuff, for the DPW and the office here. I'm gonna take applications, submitted to Tina in writing, letter of intent, sealed starting tomorrow or Wednesday when Tina can get it posted, up to Monday, May 4th at noon. So it gives people sufficient time to submit their letter of intent to the office for review. And I will review them.
To be on a committee,
To be on a committee, correct.
to oversee the clerks and the.
And the DPW, yes, I have a right to make a committee, so I'm making that right.
Can I just clarify, like, the oversight, because obviously there are things that, chapter 60 of the state statutes do not allow people to have access to, so are we going to?
But we got, before review and I make the appointments,
Okay.
if there's anything you wanna bring to my attention, we will review it with, council and decide from there.
Okay.
Is there confidential information that they have?
Well, that's what we'll discuss and figure out now, work with our legal counsel to make sure none of that information is shared. That's my motion.
So they're gonna be vetted.
I made that motion for the committee. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Got a second? Call for discussion?
what is the driving factor behind creating these committees or this committee?
This committee, oversight and review things, so we know what's going on a little bit better. Public is, I've seen a lot of public things out there, they wanna know what's going on a little bit, and I think having this committee will help do that.
If I may ask, just like, if they would call, like, I know I've had conversation with Mr. Orton and we have talked, I highly would like people to, call if they got questions rather than going to Facebook.
I'd like to second that.
I did,
No, but
I
that
did
hasn't
tell
been the
people.
case.
No.
That hasn't been the case. Having an oversight to help with this process, I think that'll benefit better. So I'm making the motion to create that committee. I have a second discussion.
One other item, is this only the clerk, or is this the clerk, treasurer, and deputy clerk?
It's the office and the DPW, both of them,
Okay, so,
both offices, because we have a police committee that's gonna handle the police department. We have a committee that'll handle the DPW in the office. Obviously, the fire department's own company, so we don't really do anything with that. We still have the lady guys on oversee that. But this is just for the DPW in office.
Can I ask a question? Or am I not?
Could I suggest that perhaps if there's going to be a DPW committee, that it be staffed with people who are familiar with things such as road repair and other DPW type functions, which are entirely different from what a clerk and a treasurer do, and so that circle of responsibilities and knowledge do not really overlap well to have one committee oversee both departments.
Well, right now, we don't know who's gonna apply for it, so I guess when the resumes are submitted and the letters of intent are submitted, we can look for qualified candidates to do that.
Okay, sounds like we're putting the cart before the horse.
That's good. Got a motion, got a second, call for vote? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, number 5, discussion and possible action regarding creation of ordinance committee, 1 board member, chair, supervisor, attorney Dubus, and 4 public members. I'm entertaining a motion that we create an ordinance committee, because we've been working on this for years. I know it's been almost completed, it was been going on, I think 2018 or 19, it's been kicked around a few times, so we are nearing completion. So I think having a committee to help oversee that will ensure that the public gets what they want in there, to a point, and that, we move forward. And plus, we're getting hit with new ordinances here and there. This would be a good committee to help screen some of that stuff prior to coming to the board for the best possible solution. So I'm entertaining a motion that we create this committee of one board member, chair, supervisor, attorney, Dubus, and 4 public members. Looking for a second.
Just want to clarify that you are making that motion as opposed to entertaining it.
I'm making that motion, yes.
I'll
Thank you.
second that.
Got a motion second, call for discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 6, discussion and possible action regarding ATV, UTV ordinance, including possible changes to include fines. I will defer this to your attorney Dubus since you helped finalize it.
Actually, Supervisor Ulander, put it together. I edited his, and I think it's, in final form, actually. And I think the clerk has it. You know,
Are you good with it? I know you're,
so to me, it's final, okay?
that's fine.
I
Do
don't
we
know if all
need
the
it?
board members have seen it, but it's in final form.
I believe I sent that out to everybody.
Okay, then they have it all.
Do we need to make a motion to, can I know we voted on it
Somebody
already,
should
but
make a motion. Well, actually, I think Bob should make the motion.
The ordinance in its final draft.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Yeah, I've got a little discussion here. The minutes, from March 10th state that Ulander made a motion to approve the ordinance subject to attorney review and approval with the condition that it not take effect until proper signage is in place. And it's my understanding the snowmobile club is not going to pay for it. So until what is the status of signage?
I've heard nothing.
Conversation with Bob Bale about a week and a half or so ago, I think, and it sounded to me like there would be a fundraiser done to fund those signs. But as it's stated in there, that until the signs go up, there's no ATVs on town roads.
And I don't know if a change has been made. You have the ordinance in front of you, because when I spoke with you, the ordinance that I have in front of me, mentioned state statute 2233. And we discovered, or you discovered, Tina, as you always discover things, that it's actually, state statute 2333. So that needs to be corrected if you haven't already done that, Tina,
Yes, I can do that.
which by the way is a 21-page ordinance or statute, so.
And I also believe we're gonna review this again in October, as part of that too. So,
Yes, that's in the minutes. The board would revisit the issue at the October meeting to assess how it's working. So that's part of the motion from March 10th.
okay, we have a motion second.
I will amend my motion with your approval to include the changes Dale just talked about, the statute section.
I'll second that. Then. Okay, call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, number 7, discuss how applicants will need to apply for vacant town board seat. As it's done in the past, I'm gonna ask for letters of intent / resumes be submitted to Tina, starting as soon as tomorrow, May 4th at 12 noon. And I will review them and we will discuss them and we'll go from there to make that appointment. Well, you know, motion made, that's just how the process works. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.